What's up, cinephiles?
Welcome to a brand new episode of
Screen Kings! For this episode, we are going to discuss the 2019 Cannes Film Festival winner,
Parasite.
directed by Bong Joon-Ho. Before that, we are going to give a special shout out to our friend John Albert. Thank you for hosting and organizing Cinema Bravo's block screening of Parasite. And along the way, we are going to discuss some spoilers because this film is really layered, but for now, you are safe. Well, we are going to give you a warning somewhere along.
The reason why we don't want to give any details to you if you still haven't seen the film is because this is the best movie so far this year.
I agree. Better than Avengers Endgame.
I'm sorry, Avengers
Spike
Endgame.
us.
I don't feel sorry for Avengers Endgame because they're already the highest grossing film of all time. But Parasite takes the cake. Brings home the bacon. Anything you can say, this is the best movie of the year.
I literally can't find any flaw in this film.
There's not.
This is the type of the film where the more you watch it, the more you're going to fall in love with this movie.
You know, if you still haven't seen this movie, you should go into the theater blind. You should not watch the trailer. You should not read any synopsis.
The best thing about this movie is you can classify its genre. You know?
Yes.
There's a political social commentary,
Yes.
there's dark comedy, and there's thriller.
You know what? During the first hours of this movie, I thought I know what direction it's heading. I thought it's a standard comedy, and then something happens, and oh man, it morphs into something so much better,
Phenomenal.
so unexpected.
And the nice thing about this is the tonal shift never feels awkward because a lot of films did that and they massively failed. But Bong Joon-Ho really, I don't know how he did it. He fits all the puzzles together, different themes. That's next level.
Bong Joon-ho is probably one of the greatest directors working today. You might be familiar with some of his films. His highly commercialized films was Okja and Snowpiercer.
I haven't seen Snowpiercer or Okja yet. You know, I am deeply ashamed with that. But
You haven't?
I have not. Okay, I have not.
Okay.
But maybe after this shoot, I'm going to watch.
And that's it for our initial reaction to Parasite. Now we're about to do a deep dive into the plot. This is your official spoiler warning. If you still haven't seen this movie, get out of here, then come back to us after you've seen the film. Okay? So, the synopsis of Parasite is about the Kim family. They are a family that lives in what could pass as a slum for South Korea. They are very poor.
The window of their home is just situated on a gutter level, so the problem is that every time a drunk person stumbles upon their place, that person is going to pee towards their home. The film establishes that they are really the lowest of the lows, the neglected people of the society.
The narrative really starts to move along when Kim Woo's friend offers him a job to tutor this rich girl who lives in the hills in an upper-class neighborhood. And then when he works for the Park family, he kind of saw an opportunity to earn a lot of money from this very gullible rich family. So slowly but surely, he hatches a plan to make his entire family work for the Park family without the Parks knowing that they are all related to each other.
Actually, I am surprised because all of a sudden the film reveals that they are all smart individuals.
They are very street smart.
Well, it only goes to show that sometimes those poor people you look down, those people you neglect, sometimes they're out to get you. They can outwit you too. That's what happens. They became the parasite to the Park family. The son gets hired to be the tutor. The sister poses herself as an art teacher. Along the way, they also conceive a plan to fire the rest of the Park's household, including the driver and the maid, which are replaced by the father and the mother of the Kim family.
Okay, so let's talk about the first hour of this movie in general. Like what you told me, it's almost like a heist film. And to me, it played out like a comedy actually. I thought that I know where the film is going because these terrible things that they are doing to this family without the Park family knowing, you know there are going to be consequences. But it's how the consequences came during the second part of the movie that really elevated this movie for me.
Because there is a sense of poetic justice. Those poor people, you can empathize on their situation. All the things that they're doing it just to fill food inside their stomachs. They are driven by poverty. And by the end, you're gonna still feel sorry for them because when the bad things start to happen, and then it also feels earned because karma has been delivered to us then and again.
Okay, let's talk about the tonal shift in the middle of this movie. So, the Park family went out camping, and then of course the Kim family, like the parasites that they are, actually spent the night in the house of the Park family, enjoying the luxuries of their household. And then the housekeeper that they got fired to employ the mother, she returned to the house, and then she reveals that there was a hidden room on the basement floor all along housing her husband. And then there it goes, the thriller aspect.
We thought this is just going to be a dark comedy at best, and then no, we are plunging to thriller territory. What is happening there? We see the maid pushing the cabinet. I thought at first it's gonna be involving exorcism.
And it's funny that the husband is also another parasite to the Park family because
That they didn't know.
And you know what? One thing that I thought of the film was it was actually foreshadowed because the patriarch of the Park family said that their previous housekeeper consumed so much food from their household.
Oh, you get that?
Yeah. So after the movie, I realized that that's why, because she was actually feeding her husband. So that was a great realization after watching the movie.
I feel like there are more bits of foreshadowing and symbolisms that we're gonna get in our second and third and fourth viewing. The narrative is already fast-paced. You are already engaged from the dark comedy aspect, and then when the thriller actually begins, it goes into a different direction that you really don't expect. It keeps on subverting your expectations, and all the while you are blown away. We were sitting beside each other. I don't know if you see my hand reactions throughout the film. I am like,
my mouth was open the whole time.
I am a mess watching this film. First, we see only two families trying outwitting the other family. Now, as soon as the basement is revealed, now there are two families involved who are both parasites. And I think this is a strong commentary on the crab mentality. Both want to get ahead of each other.
The encounter actually ends with them injuring the former housekeeper and tying up her husband. And then the Park family suddenly cancels their camping trip and went back home. And so there was a suspense that, are they gonna get caught?
Bong Joon-Ho really does elevate the tension. This is the part of the film that I like because he really utilized the whole house. I mean, the house itself, it boosts the story.
Yeah, so I really want to talk about this part. The part when they escape from the house. It was so well shot by Bong Joon-ho. It was shot like they just kept going down.
When they're going back to the slums?
Yeah, when they were going back to the slums.
There are no dialogues in that sequence, but I really felt the heaviness of the sequence because it starts to pour torrential downpour.
It was shot in a way that the Kim family kept on going down quite literally, but you can think of it as a way as they are going down back to their normal lives after experiencing the luxuries of being an upper class family. It was, I don't know, I really loved that shot. And then when they got back to their house and then they saw it flooded, you can see that the patriarch.
That is so heartbreaking.
It was so heartbreaking because you see the patriarch of the Kim family after realizing all the luxuries that his family has been missing all this time. You can see in his face that
the disappointment,
and emotionally breaking down. It's really heartbreaking.
It's hard for. I am not a father, but I can understand his situation when you see your family not being provided for, and especially in that scene, they just left from the luxuries and now their house is flooded. Their toilets are overflowing with sewage water. Who knows what else is in there?
And then this storm causes them to spend the night in an evacuation center wherein you can see something developing in the character of the father.
At this point, it is revealed that the father has a very nihilistic point of view. The son really felt sorry at that moment. And then the father reveals that, you know, son, I don't know the exact lines, but he said, son, you don't need to worry a thing about the future if you just stop planning. In that way, if everything goes wrong, you won't be disappointed by life. Actually, it kind of reminded me of Timon and Pumbaa's mantra of Hakuna Matata, right? Where just let all your worries go. At that moment, the son, he wants to assert his masculinity and he wants to be the protector and provider of this family. So he decides to return back to the basement and finish the deed once and for all.
But this plan actually backfires because the husband of the former housekeeper actually escapes and he's very angry because his wife died. And now he uses the rock to hit Kim Woo in the head, and it's a very bloody scene. And then it leads to this scene which just turned batshit crazy.
It all unfolds on broad daylight. You see the terror. It's set on a children's party.
And then after this man escapes from the basement very angrily, he goes on a rampage which resulted into the death of the daughter of the Kim family. And then the patriarch of the Kim family, in a way, I think he snaps. And then
He really did.
He snaps and he stabbed the father of the Park family, who he just saw was kind of revolted of the smell.
We see Mr. Park wincing every time he smells Mr. Kim, and when you get insulted for your smell, it really feels personal. It's a direct attack to your character,
Your whole being.
and then in a way it manifests as his insecurity as a father that he can provide for his family.
So now let's talk about that ending when we find out that the father actually hid in the basement of this house in the hidden room discovered, so the authorities wasn't able to get to him. So Kim Woo finds out that his father was hiding in the basement all along. So he hatches a plan to buy the house, and we actually get a shot of him actually buying the house, and then his father just going up the stairs to reunite with his family. But again, they were kicked back into reality because this was in his imagination all along. I love the final shot of this movie because the final shot of this movie, the camera starts at a relatively high angle, and then again it goes down. It goes down again back to that decrepit apartment of the Kim family, and then it shows Kim Woo who just said this heartbreaking line that until then just wait for me. I think it's something like that.
And you said
It got me.
You said had the ending be the shot of the son and the surviving mother reuniting with the father, it would have been perfect ending. Bong Joon-ho tops that with that scene that you didn't expect, and there falls again the heartbreak. That
Last shot of the movie elevated this film to new heights. I mean, it's incredible. You thought that by the end of this movie you're gonna leave feeling good, then all of a sudden, bam! No, reality strikes. No, they haven't bought the house. They still live in this decrepit apartment. They're still poor.
And what I like about this film is this is mainly the point of view of the poor family. But I think this film will appeal to every social class because we all have those struggles, those insecurities, those times we're feeling inept to serve for our family, and it just hits close to home. Even if this is a Korean film, and what more if this is an indie film, a local indie film.
So my final thoughts in this movie, actually, after watching the film, I posted on Facebook, I said that every once in a while, a movie comes along that touches your soul. I wasn't trying to be pretentious. This movie really did touch my soul. Because seeing the social commentary on this, seeing the struggles that the characters went through, and seeing all these payoffs, all that happens, I don't know, man, it just hit me right here.
And not to mention, there is really a life-changing aspect to this movie. We see every time you decide to do something bad or immoral, even if it's just, it won't cause much danger to the aggrieved party. Life will find a way to serve its justice, and in return, you might find yourself being in a precarious situation that you really didn't want.
Now that we've gushed so much about this movie, it's time to give out our grade. I think we have the same grade for this movie. So our grade is 5
out of 5 stars.
If I can give it 6 stars, I would give it 6.
Me too.